All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and today I'm back with another video here. Last night I talked about how important this game was for this team and for the Flyers, and they came through. A 4-2 win over the Ottawa Senators. This one was eventful. There was a lot of things that obviously went on, and it was not easy. But 2 points is 2 points, and a win is a win, and the Flyers, they find a way. I mean, they've done this all year. Again, I've said this multiple times. They have a response. With the standings now, 62 games played, Flyers are 32, 23, and 7, 71 points. Washington actually dips down now because the Islanders had a big win over the Bruins tonight. Islanders are 5 points back of the Flyers with 2 games in hand. Washington, they have 3 games in hand, and currently they do play tomorrow. They have 65 points. Jersey with 64, Pittsburgh with 62, and the Flyers, they find a way and they get 2 points. Good end of the weekend. Obviously, again, you needed to win this game. Ottawa was not a good team. They are 8th in the Atlantic. They've struggled. They have struggled in their last, 10, I believe, I think they were 4-5-1 in their last 10 going into this. No Brady Tkachuk for them, obviously, and the Flyers had a little change in lines as well. No Owe Lixel. Atkinson comes back in, and we'll talk about Atkinson in a minute because he was just god-awful. And Sandstrom wasn't that. And thankfully for Sandstrom, the Flyers gave him a lead, and they didn't really give him a ton until the third period where he faced just an absolute onslaught. But we'll get to that. As for Nick Seeler, there was a record that was broken, and then also the line. So for Seeler, he is now third all-time in single-season block shots leaders for franchise history. Third all-time. He just broke Kimo Timonen with 175 in 2010-11. Seeler now is 178. And the Flyers have 20 games left. Chris Pronger has 189, and Jason Smith has 204. Pronger did in 09-10, and then Smith obviously did it the 1 year he was a Flyer, 2007-2008. I think Seeler could actually break the record all time. That's only 26 more for 20 games. I mean, Seeler probably averages, maybe 2 or 3 a game, or at least. So that's very doable for him. And the lines in this one: Farabee, Lawton, Foerster, Cates, Paling, Hathaway, Tippett, Frost, and Atkinson, Delorier with Couturier and Brink, and then York with Sanheim, Seeler with Walker, Zamula with Stahl, and then, as I mentioned, Felix Sandstrom was in net. So first period actually was very good. Flyers had 20-something shots, limited Ottawa to 5. They score early. They had a couple of chances. Cates had a chance early, Paling as well. They got right in on the forecheck, and then Farabee would open the scoring. It was a shot from Seeler, deflected and tight. 15-game goal drought broken for Farabee. He needed that big time. I mean, he's a guy, who obviously had the scoring touch a little bit there. He had some points. He last game against Ottawa was the game he scored. He had that goal that made it 3-1 on January 21st. Flyers lost that game 5-3. But when you look at Farabee and look at where he's been, his usage and everything, he still gets, he's still on the power play. They've kind of mixed him in a little bit to power play 2. And the Flyers had a ton of power plays in this period, 3 of them, and they don't get anything. And that's the frustrating part, because if you have some guys in the right spots, and I talked about this, they had a goal last night in Washington, Tippett in the left flank where he can shoot the puck. They had a chance to get something there, and granted, they had chances on the power play. I mean, Tippett had a backdoor pass for Farabee. He got stoned. Sogard was great. Tippett also got robbed glove side. The Flyers definitely moved the puck on the power play and generated chances off the setup. But my problem is the fact that it lacks what an NHL power play can do when you A, have 3 of them and you can't get a goal, and B, you have guys in spots where it's hard for them to get shots off. I feel to me, if that's Tippett to Farabee on the one where Tippett gets robbed, that's a goal and the Flyers lead 2-0. But it's frustrating because it's just another waste. And again, they had chances, but how many times do I have to keep saying, yeah, they got chances and it gave them momentum, but you know what I mean? So I'd like them to change something there and at least get a goal. Really, that's what I want. And the Sens had pressure early, and I'm thinking to myself, this is just like last night, where the second period they get just absolutely swarmed on. Tarasenko would tie the game. It was a weird backhander, found net. It was a broken play. The weirdest thing that happened in the second period to me was the fact that the Flyers' defense every time they went back for a puck, would throw it into a random corner where no one else was. And the other defenseman was on the other side or not there or whatever. And it was just a total miscommunication for the first maybe 7-8 minutes. Tarasenko would tie the game. Torts ended up talking to the Flyers at the first TV timeout, and they were all huddled in. It was the same thing as last night that happened. And they actually had a good couple of shifts after that. Good shift by the Farabee line. Then Ottawa gets a power play. It was just brutal. And then they went right back to it. Sens had the puck the whole time, failed clear after failed clear. They did hit the post as well. I think they had 3. Really, they hit 4 posts because the one was a double hit from Chikrin. Or it might have been Shabbat. I can't remember off the top of my head. But it went ding-ding right back over and ended up coming back out. And, they had the power play after that. Then we get a little 4-on-4. Sanheim and Joseph go. I didn't really understand the call on Sanheim there. I didn't really think he did anything. But they take them both. And the Flyers, they went through the past couple of minutes. On the second goal from Foerster the first goal from Foerster, the second goal for the Flyers comes here. And they switched the wingers off the draw. I believe it was Farabee in that spot, or they at least made a switch in the lines. I don't know. It might have been the Paling, Hathaway, and the Cates line that would have been out there. And I believe Paling was the center. I think it was Hathaway on that side. They switched them. They put Foerster, and it worked. It was a really good shot. Seeing eye shot ends up going in. Flyers have a 2-1 lead. And then Foerster just says, F this, and skates up the ice, and he's got a breakaway for maybe the red line in. And then he gets a penalty shot because of the speed and everything. The Flyers, that actually was NHL history as well. That's 5th all-time, fifth penalty shot goal, which is most all-time. So that's really cool. And the reason the Flyers have that record is because they have guys with speed, and the way that the system is, you're able to get guys through the middle of the ice, and the Flyers obviously lead the league in rush chances and everything else. They've been a very good rush team this year. They score a ton off the rush with speed and the skill that they have and how much they have their centers just kind of fly. Guys like Paling do that, and that's why that line's been so well, right? But they get this goal from Foerster, and my God, Wells Fargo Center erupted. I was literally dripping sweat off the top of my head. That's how excited I was. And it was really good to see. I mean, especially for Foerster, that's his 6th goal in the last 5 games. With connecting out, you needed someone to step up. I think Tippett, since the Stadium Series, has kind of dipped a little bit. And Foerster stepped right up since coming back, and it's been great. So he's got 6 goals in 5 games since coming back from the injury, especially without connecting. That's huge. Third period I did not like, really at all. Certainly was not the best way to close out a game. They got the empty netter with a second left, I think it was, maybe 1.3, something like that. And, they ended up kind of going in this period, and I'm like, all right, let's just kind of ease this one out. You know what I mean? I just kind of end this, and that wasn't the case. Ottawa really took it to them. The Flyers had a couple of penalties. It was not ideal. Shots in the third were 8-4 in favor of Ottawa. Shots for the game 40-26 in favor of the Flyers, and they get a power play. It was a double minor on York. Hathaway had a nice clear. Sealer with a couple blocks. Obviously mentioned that off the top. Killed that off. They really didn't give them much of anything. They had. I think the biggest thing is the Flyers stayed strong, and they defended in layers on the penalty kill, at least as much as you can, and didn't really give them much towards the net. Sandstrom was at least able to see the puck, and he was great in the third period. He really gave them a chance. He had some great saves on this next one. It was a high stick from Lawton. Then there was a interference call where the Flyers got a power play here. Foerster, and this was maybe about 5:23-ish or so late in the third. I'm like, all right, let's just end this one easy. Cycle it around, move the puck a little bit, and of course that wasn't the case. They had to make it hard. There's a penalty on Farabee. It was a slash, then 4-on-4 for 36 seconds, 2 posts. Like I mentioned, Shabbat scores. You knew that was coming. You had multiple chances to score, and they hit the post before that, and it just landed right on Shabbat's stick. There's nothing Sandstrom could do there. So that's in the back of the net, and it was a broken play with about a minute and a half left. And I'm like, it was actually closer to 2 minutes, maybe minute 58 or something like that. And it was crazy at the end. I mean, they had a ton of shots. They were throwing pucks at Sandstrom, and good for him. I mean, for a guy in Sandstrom who really struggled, I think, last year, he had some really good games toward the end of it. Obviously, this season in Lehigh Valley has really just been a dud for everybody, it seems like, and Sandstrom's a guy that, comes up, he gets his chance, and he delivers. And the Flyers, with a big win and, something that you needed out of this, and now you go Monday, you have St. Louis. This was a really big win, and they needed this bad. So, yeah, I mean, it's there's not much else I can really say. I mean, it's a huge win. You needed 2 points again, like I said, and for the standings, again, just to kind of reiterate, the Flyers now sitting 7 points back of second place with one more game played than the Hurricanes, and then the Islanders, they're 5 points back of the Flyers with 2 games in hand. The Capitals 6 points back with 3 games in hand, so that kind of favors Washington depending on what they do tomorrow against the Coyotes. So we'll see. It should be interesting. Thanks everybody again for all support as always. Always enjoy obviously being able to talk with you guys all over, from everything that we do at Maher Media, off Twitter, Discord, everything. Join the Discord. We got a lot of cool stuff that's in there and a lot of good conversation. And obviously follow us on everything: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you use the most. Thanks everybody again. My name is Chris, and I'll talk to you all again soon.